Sisters and brothers, as we are continuing our walk through the fourth and final part of the Catechism of the Catholic Church, we're looking at various ways and forms of prayer and the spiritual life. One of the ways in which Catholics pray is the use of devotionals. Devotionals are those rituals or those practices or particular prayers that are sometimes said in private, sometimes said in a group or in a communal setting, but they're not liturgical. That is, they don't have a set rite. And so one of the things about devotions is there are common forms, but there are often variations in those common forms. If we take, for example, the Rosary that many of us grew up with that had the three sets of mysteries, the joyful mysteries, the sorrowful mysteries, the glorious mysteries, as we followed the trajectory of Christ's life from the incarnation to the resurrection. And then added to those by Pope John Paul II were the mysteries of light that considered the ministry of Christ, right in between the joyful and the sorrowful mysteries. And so we have 4 now sets of mysteries to the Rosary. Just an example of how devotions change. There are lots of different kinds of devotions: litanies, adoration, prayers to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the popular novenas like we celebrate in our life as a parish community, 9 days before the feast of St. Theresa of Lisieux. There's the novena of St. Teresa's, the 9 days of prayer. Novena being the Latin word, nova, the Latin word for 9. So, sisters and brothers, devotions, let me offer you one more, one of my favorites, and that is the Stations of the Cross. You know, in the early days of the church, it was not uncommon for people to make pilgrimages to the holy sites, to walk the path of Jesus in Jerusalem and the Holy Land. There was a famous holy woman in the 4th century who details and recorded her journey. Oftentimes, there were a variety of sites that could be seen. As the Middle Ages dawned, travel became more difficult because of the Crusades, and that notion of the pilgrimage to the sites of Jesus changed into the Stations of the Cross. Since I couldn't go to Jerusalem, I'd bring Jerusalem to me. And so the church marked out different steps along the way. Today, there are 14 stations. At one point in time, there were 33 stations that marked the journey of Christ through his ministry to his death and resurrection. So sisters and brothers, devotions are popular ways in which we express our faith. They all express some core belief of our doctrine. And so I encourage you to look, whether in the internet or a little prayer book, the Meditations and Devotions of John Henry Newman. There are all kinds of resources for us that introduce us to new devotions that can inspire our spiritual life and God's journey with us.
Please like, subscribe, and comment below. God bless you.